Hey everyone, welcome back. Wanted to give you guys an update on how HotRod DragWeek went. I only essentially had 14 days from the time I got released from the doctors to begin to work on this switch for HotRod DragWeek to take the car from a 302 naturally aspirated engine to switch it to a 306 that I had, where the heads were on the shelf and all that. I explained it in other videos. So that 14 days really came down to 12 because of life things. So I did manage to complete everything and the car did extremely well. The road test was really late the night going into Saturday when we had to leave to go to HotRod DragWeek, which of course it started at MIR. Along the way, the car only had very minimal issues. I carry a spare starter and a spare alternator, which is awesome because I think it was day 4 that the alternator went, leaving Cecil County to head back to MIR, which no big deal. Spare alternator and starter in the trunk, pulled over, swapped the new alternator on there and was on the way. And I believe it was day 1 my Y-band O2 sensor went, which was awesome that Summit's there. So I was able to go over to the Summit trailer, show the guy my Y-band O2 sensor, and their computer showed they didn't have any in stock, but luckily they did have one on the trailer, so that was relatively easy. And then the turbo T4 flange gasket, that started leaking, which I haven't addressed yet. I will now that I'm home, and it's been a week now that the car's been unloaded. I did take the car for a nice ride after I pulled it off the trailer when I got home last weekend, and the car started doing a lunging. So it would lunge to the left and then shoot forward, which explains why on my last pass, going through the traps at 120, I felt the car get a little shaky, tail end light. And I was like, well, that's weird. Something's got to be up. Maybe there's fluid on the track or something happened. And then come to find out when I got home, took the car off the trailer, took it for a blast down the street, and it did that lunging motion, which I'll show you. It actually broke a lower control arm. Well, just the bushing itself, I guess from age, popped off. Like I said, a lot of these parts came from another car that I'm upgrading. So it was pretty neat on the trip. I had 1320. I ran into a few of the guys in a hotel lobby the one night, and Scott, great guy. All those guys over there, Fred, Scott, Kyle. I've met so many people throughout doing these drag and drives and even just going and spectating for an entire week. Met a lot of great people. So 1320, I told them the story because we got to talking and they wind up doing an interview. It was really neat. A lot of people have great things to say. It's pretty neat to build a car that minimal days wise and throw it together and it worked. The car's fastest pass was an 1170, I think just under 121, which I wasn't really pushing the car extremely hard, knowing that I have to survive the entire week and I can't go faster than 1150 anyhow because there's no cage in the car. So 1320 did a write-up. I explained to Scott that the condition that I came down with was vestibular neuritis, which when I first started this series off, after you guys didn't see any kind of videos go out for 5 weeks, that's because I was down for the count. So the condition is actually vestibular neuritis. It's an inner ear nerve that got somehow a virus. So I caught something viral and it attacked that nerve, and that's what uprooted my life. And luckily, with going to physical therapy and seeing the correct doctors, I'm doing so much better. It is a little challenging sometimes to drive at night with all the lights, and PT really helps out. So that's the gist of that story, but it was great to interact with the 1320 guys and for them to take the time and write such a nice article and be part of such a great culture. I mean, the camaraderie with drag and drive events is next to none. I mean, everybody's so willing to help. You can pretty much approach anybody, say hi to people. It's a very nice event, family friendly. The people there are great. It's not like regular drag racing where you go to the track and certain people you can't even approach them. I know when you know, the heavy hitters, when they're under the gun, you know, steer clear and let them do their thing. But there's always times throughout the event that you can actually stop in, say hi, talk to people. So I'll show you some of the control arm bushing problems. I'll try to find a video or so and insert that in the video and show you guys one of the passes that it made. Like I said, the fastest pass was that 1170 that I handed in. My weekly average was a 12.0 at, it was like a 12.05 at 119. So the car is doing very well. No cooling issues, no nothing like that. It was just very minimal things. So let me flip the camera over, show you these lower control arms. And I did swap over the alternator, like I said, so I got to get the other one rebuilt or just replace it, because this one's just a spare and it's actually overcharging a little bit. I don't really want to leave it on the car. So let me flip this around. I'll show you the lower control arms, and I already ordered a new set. I'll show you those as well. So here's the lower control arms I pulled off. This bushing's just starting to rip, but this is the one that blew out. And over the years I might have used the wrong grease for these bushings. I can't remember if these things are Steeda lowers, they're aluminum. Steeda, BBK, UPRs. I'm not sure. I took them off another car, like I keep on saying. And then these are the Tin Soldiers lowers and uppers. These are the ones I just put on my other car. These are really nice. The bolts and bushing kit are really nice hardware. So that's them. Here's the underside of the car. I did upper and lower battle boxes when I first put this car together a couple of years ago. Just did a couple little tack welds when I did everything just to reinforce the stock boxes. Oh, I can see when that bushing shifted. I just see this in real time, so you're seeing it as well. I guess when it shifted and the dry shift came up and just hit there, even with a pinion snubber. But other than that, everything's clean, no leaks. Clutch still feels pretty good. It's got a little bit of chatter to it now from all the stopping and going in heat. Crossover pipe's got a little bit of a leak. I might wind up cutting the tube down here. That way I can make sure this is seated properly here. Everything's really nice. Came out nice. The mufflers are only off right now because of pulling the control arms. They're right here on the ground. But yeah, so I'll put those in, and then I'll address the T4 flange turbo gasket leak, and then I'll be able to take this thing for a ride again. So this is a little funny. I knew the Y-band that I put in the car before I left was bad. I mean, they sit around. It probably got banged around and probably was going bad before I even left. So I borrowed one from a buddy of mine, and it's an older Innovative gauge. So it's this same exact plug that Innovative has for their newer style. It's just smaller. This is the older style, and it's a Bosch sensor. So the one that was on the car was going bad. I borrowed one from a buddy, and that only made it, like I said, a day. So I had him ship the new one, and then, like I said, Summit. Thank goodness they had one. So now I can trash all this junk. I appreciate everyone that's been watching, following along. And this was the HotRod DragWeek journey. And I know Landon missed out on some of the videos. He does want to continue to work in the garage and make a couple more videos of something. I have other projects going on, so maybe we'll do some more videos on other projects and things and see how people like it. But thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great night. Take care now.